Welcome back to Obscured Reality. Tonight, we're going to keep with a current theme. That's right, 3i Atlas. Who'd have guessed? Who'd have freaking guessed?
Not me.
We're going to look at something important that came out in the last couple days here. Some of you might have seen it, I'm sure. And then we're going to look at another oddity as well. The first thing could be considered an oddity, but not necessarily of 3i Atlas. Maybe just the topic. But I'm going to share my screen. We're going to start off reading something here and show you the document I'm talking about. Now, this document came from a FOIA request by none other than John Greenwald Jr., the guy who runs the Black Vault, which is good.
That was not the name I was going to guess.
Yeah. I highly recommend you check him out. Go, check him out on YouTube. Check out his website. He's like the god of FOIA requests. He's been doing it forever. He's built it into sites, channels, all that stuff. And he doesn't really opinionate too much. He more or less goes through the stuff he gets, reads it out loud, tries to pick holes through it. This was a FOIA request he submitted about 3i Atlas. And this is the return he got. And I'm going to read this for you, but let's share it right now. So this begins, this letter, well, you can see up here, John Greenwald. I don't know why they left his stuff on here. I didn't know he lived in Castaic, but cool. This is from the C.I.A. This FOIA request was submitted to the C.I.A. Interesting. This letter is a final response to your November 12th, 2025 Freedom of Information Act request seeking any assessments, reports, or communications maintained by the Central Intelligence Agency referencing 3i Atlas or Interstellar Object 3i from June 1st, 2025 to present. We completed a thorough review, I'm sure they did, of your request to determine that in accordance with Section 3.6A of Executive Order 13526, the CIA can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records responsive to your request. And it gets better. The fact of the existence or non-existence of such records is itself currently and properly classified and is intelligence sources and methods information protected from disclosure by Section 6 of the CIA Act of 1949 as amended, and blah, blah, blah. Therefore, your request is denied pursuant to FOIA exemptions B1 and B3. As the CIA information privacy, I am the CIA,
That's whatever. A lot of words to say fuck off. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
Good God. This is the document. You guys can find it all over the internet right now.
Oh my God.
Good freaking God. Now, I mean, we're going to have to look into this really quick. I highly recommend you don't jump to conclusions about this and like, oh my God, they're classifying 3i Atlas. It's got to be something other than a comet. We don't know. If you're going to use common sense, it's most likely a comet, okay? Not a big deal. However, this whole thing is interesting, okay?
I love the wording.
This is exactly how conspiracy theories start. Mm-hmm. There's no transparency whatsoever. So let's go into it. I mean, what are we really saying here? I mean, we don't even really know. It's so vague. It's so ambiguous. How do you even pick anything out of this other than 2 or 3, maybe a few more possibilities? And you don't know what is or isn't true. So first thing I want to know is, why did John Greenwald submit a FOIA request to CIA about 3i Atlas? Surely we know the CIA has satellites in space. They use them for spying, blah, blah, blah. They're meant to look at things the size of a golf ball on the ground from space, from orbit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the SR-71 could do that. I'm sure this is way better. I'm sure they're not meant for looking at objects in space. However, they probably could if it's something that's still, you look at like the moon or a planet or something, but you're looking at something traveling 130 plus thousand miles an hour. That's different. We understand this. So it's interesting. I would think, well, back to my point there. I want to know why he submitted a FOIA request to the CIA. And here's what I'm getting at. Did he get word did he hear rumors of something possibly that the CIA might be looking into 3i Atlas? I want to know that. And I'm nothing bad on John Greenwald.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know.
Yeah.
Did something come out somewhere? Was there a rumor that CIA might be looking into it? If so, that makes this all
I want to know what you know, essentially.
Yeah, because this is very pointed. This is to the CIA. The CIA, there's no way. They don't have, I wouldn't imagine, they don't have the ability to look at interstellar objects. They don't have the knowledge base for that. That's not what they do. They don't look at comets and asteroids and planets and moons and stars and all that crap, right? So why would you be submitting a request to them? And I'm not calling him out. Glad he did. I want to know why, though. What transpired that led him to submit a FOIA request to them? So regarding what they said here, the first assumption you could come up with, again, this is exactly how conspiracy theories start. You're going to hear one in just a minute. The first assumption I can make is they don't talk about anything, right? And you can submit a FOIA request all day long for anything you want, and you're always going to get something like this, is my guess. I don't know. Another assumption, that they didn't investigate or look into 3i Atlas. If that's the case, the assumption would be that, well, I would think they'd send something back saying possibly, we haven't looked into or investigated 3i Atlas. That's not within the purview of what the CIA does. We don't have the people, the manpower that looks at interstellar objects. Like we look at objects on the ground. We look at other countries probably involved in the Venezuelan raid recently. I'm sure that's what they do, not comets, right? Not planetary bodies. What are some other assumptions you could come up with from reading this? Well, that they did look into it and they are now classifying it because they found something weird, something odd. Maybe 3i Atlas isn't a comet. And that's where the conspiracy theories are going to start because they're not transparent at all.
No.
Another possibility, as an assumption. They looked into it and found nothing odd at all. Not that they would have the knowledge base for it anyways. It's the CIA. At that point, you would think they would still come out and say, we looked into it. We didn't,
we didn't find anything.
Yeah, from what we can tell, and the people we talk to are professionals in this field, maybe it's just a comment. We haven't found evidence otherwise. So, I mean, this is exactly how these things are going to start. And this is how they start. So it's interesting. They're classifying this. John Greenwald has said he's going to appeal this. I expect nothing less than what you see here as a return when he appeals it. I don't know. It's weird. One of the things is, and they mention it in here, sources and methods, right?
Yeah.
And we just went through this bullshit with this whole UFO bullshit that's been going on since 2017, right? We've heard this number of times where there's some videos they're not going to release because sources and methods, the stuff on the screen. But we already know, we already see they can take all that out. They can get out of there whatever they want. So they're not giving away to our adversaries stuff they don't want to give away, right? So let's say the CIA has a satellite in orbit, which they have multiple, I'm sure, and they were able to turn it around and get a great image of Atlas. Of course, it'd be a coma in the anti-tail and the tails and all that bullshit. But let's say it's the best image ever, you know, they could still talk about what they did. They could still, you know, even if it's odd or not odd, they could still say they did it. They could lie and just say,
I mean, they're so good at it anyways.
yeah, they could just simply lie and say they could tell us the truth as far as what they see, but they could lie about what was used. Let's say it was their own satellite and it worked out well. Well, they could just say we you know, we conversed with some company that has satellite up in space meant for imaging objects or whatever, blah, blah, blah. We unfortunately can't reveal, you know, any details on that company or the technology used. And yeah, we found it to be very odd or not odd, right?
Yeah.
They could just do that. This isn't that hard. And you know,
It never will.
yeah, and from everything that's been happening with 3i Atlas and how odd it truly is, you would think these groups, these entities like NASA, the CIA, if the CIA is being asked like this, would comment more on it. But then again, they full well know people are going to run with it anyways. So why not leave it ambiguous and keep all the bullshit alive, you know? It's weird. I expected more from this, but clearly that's not what we're going to get. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of the appeal, if anything. Probably not much.
No.
Next up, regarding 3i Atlas, another oddity. This has been out for a few weeks. We just have not gotten to it. But I mean, you tell me what you think here.
All right, I will.
We're gonna look at the pictures. Let me zoom out a tiny bit so we can see them all. So these, I don't recall exactly when. November up through December. These were taken. Okay. I'm gonna read something here also, but just look at these top left here. I mean, you see some patterns here. I mean, look at the way these jets are shooting out. This would be the anti-tail. It's massive, 10 times longer than it is wide. It's just insanely huge, which is totally unexpected from something like this. And look at what appears to possibly be symmetry on the three jets. Look here. I mean, is that not interesting? When you have, look at this picture here. This is the anti-tail, right? That's going towards the sun within 8 or 9 degrees of the center, right? Why are we getting such big ones back here, still sublimating? They're facing the cold. Here's just some more imaging of it. The top two are the best. I really like those ones the most. But let's read this. What I'm going to read is from Avi Loeb's Medium website regarding these images. He didn't obviously take these images with any of his things. He has nothing in space, but you know what I mean? These were taken from Hubble. He's commenting on this. He's done the math and looked into it. So here's what he has to say. 17 images of the interstellar object 3i Atlas taken by the Hubble Space Telescope on November 30th, December 12th, and December 27th, 2025 are accessible. Here, he provides a link to it. They reveal an intriguing configuration of evolving jets. On large scales, out to 100,000 kilometers, the most prominent jet is an anti-tail directed towards the sun, which we see right here, the anti-tail, right?
Yep.
Directed towards the sun, but on a scale that is 10 times smaller, there are 3 jets. Now that's interesting. And I think that's interesting. I'll tell you why. So the anti-tail itself is 10 times longer than it is wide. Okay. These 2 jets, the other 2 remaining jets, are on a scale that is 10 times smaller. We're working in multiplications of 10 here. That's interesting. What's the chances of this? And we're going to find out here. There are 3 jets, one pointing roughly away from the sun and 2 others pointing sideways in directions that are oriented plus or minus 120 degrees relative to each other. You see that in the picture. There's symmetry here. This isn't something that just happens a ton in nature. We do see it with vegetation, different. We do see it here and there. You're talking about a random space rock made out of who knows what, with types of one or more, 2 types of ice on it that sublimate. Are you expecting to see this kind of symmetry here?
No, because no. I just don't see how
it looks designed.
exactly like you.
I'm telling you,
symmetry in nature is totally a thing because it's based on like Fibonacci sequence and like the flower of life and all that bullshit. Yeah. But like, this is a rock in outer space. It is in no way like grown from cells that reproduce the same structure over and over again. Like, I'm just gonna go back to being noises.
And when we say rock, I mean, let's be specific here or elaborate. It doesn't necessarily mean rock as we think of it. This thing could be some harder substances. Think of rock, metal, things like that. But
I say rock in a very general sense, in the fact that it is not a living organic material in which it replicates itself in order to survive.
Right. I'm not questioning you.
I know. I just want for so people commenters, if there are any.
A huge chunk of this, most of this could be ice, water ice, dry ice, could be anything.
Dry ice would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and a lot of them are. It's a dry ice, and I don't know. It's weird. Directions are oriented plus or minus 120 degrees relative to each other. That's completely unexpected here. But we're going to get to the chances of this stuff happening here in a second.
Oh, John.
The equal angular separations of 360 degrees divided by 3 among these 3 jet axes is puzzling. The orientation of the 3 axes is changing over time. So the orientation of those 3 is changing over time, presumably as a result of the rotation of the nucleus. Okay. The natural comet interpretation associates the jets with major pockets of ice on the surface of a rotating nucleus. The one that points at the sun creates a prominent anti-tail jet that extends out to 100,000 kilometers. The activity of the other jets could be triggered by heat conduction through the body of the nucleus. I've thought about that. I think that could be a possibly good explanation. It's warming up inside, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get crap coming out the other side. Although, I don't know. Right? Exactly. That's the point.
I know.
All of these oddities are freaking odd. This is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty odd.
The rotation period of 3I Atlas is about 16 hours, varying the extent of the minor jets by 5,000 kilometers over 8 hours is possible with a jet speed of 0.2 kilometers per second associated with the thermal speed of volatile molecules from the sublimation of ice by sunlight. However, having a coherent anti-tail jet on a scale that is in an order of magnitude larger requires stability over longer periods. This stability is possible if the rotation axis is nearly aligned with the direction of the sun and the anti-tail jet precesses in a small cone around the rotation axis like a beam of a lighthouse. So what he's saying is Atlas is rotating about once every 16 hours. The axis of that rotation would essentially have to be pointing at the sun. So if the sun's here, Atlas is here, it's rotating like this. That rotation has, the part that's barely rotating has to be facing the sun, not this way, right? Because you're not seeing much movement in that antitail. And this thing's hit perihelion, end of October, I think. I forget exactly when.
I feel like it was back then, yeah.
So you're expecting a change, but we've seen the same thing from the antitail the whole time. We're not seeing the swirling that should be seen from a true defined comet. Not saying it's not, but Jesus. The antitail jet is 10 times longer than it is wide. This suggests that its misalignment with the rotation axis is smaller than 6 degrees. The required geometry, and a lot of this isn't going to matter to most of us, like we're not figuring this out, right? But he's going to tell us right here what needs to be figured out. So let me start that over. The antitail jet is 10 times longer than it is wide. This suggests that its misalignment with the rotation axis is smaller than 6 degrees. The required geometric alignment of the rotation axis with the direction of the sun has a small chance of 0.2% of occurring at random. That's a very, very tiny chance of this actually happening. Along with all of the other oddities.
I was literally about to say all the other small little slim chances, like the whole 1 in 500 of it even being here.
Well, being on the plane, the ecliptic plane.
That's what I'm saying. Being here, like right now in our solar system with us, this close to us. Like, that's what I'm saying. Here.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure to clarify the 1 in 500 chance is of it being on the ecliptic plane, not
correct, but it's still another small chance that it just another one.
Yeah.
Okay, it's DJ Khaled, like, come on.
Every anomaly is like a fraction of a percentage of a chance of happening. And I said this before. You take 1 or 2 or 3, maybe even 4 or 5 of those, not a big freaking deal. But when you have this many and they all have this minute chance of happening, come on, know, and this isn't related to trajectory at all. And it's still a tiny chance of happening, if it's crazy. So we're almost done here. Are the symmetric triple jet inner structure or the unlikely alignment of the rotation axis with the direction of the sun technological signatures, or can they be natural outcome of gas dynamics? Time will tell, he says. So insane. I mean,
in the membrane.
I don't know. This is so crazy. I mean, you got to remember this antitail is so long. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say it was around 1 million miles in length.
Wild.
And 100% completely unexpected to be that long. The solar wind, the solar radiation should be pushing this back so much sooner than that. Yet this thing's still extending out that far. And one of the only ideas or theories of that happening could be an actual type of propulsion, like ion propulsion, which he's looked into a little bit and has said that may be possible to get something this long. He's not claiming it is that, but you got to remember, we've also had a trajectory change with C.I.A. Atlas, not major, but now it's putting it right next to getting into the orbit of Jupiter, which I'm not claiming it's going to, but it's getting right to that spot where it'd be perfect timing to release satellites, probes, drone ships, whatever you want to conspiratorially hypothesize about, right? I mean, the oddities here are crazy. These pictures, these photos are, and this is, it's all complete bullshit, because you have an entity like NASA, right? Who we know recently finally came out with their images. They claim they were holding on to them because the government shut down. We can't have. Shut the fuck up. I can't do that shit. It's crazy. They know. There's no way not one of those people was not aware of what was going on and watching stuff like what Avi Loeb's been saying, right? And looking at all this data. They should be addressing every goddamn one of the anomalies, the oddities, and stating as fact, this is why this is happening. Or if you don't know as fact, this is why this could be happening, but we're not 100%. There's nothing. They addressed one or two, and that was shit at that, So it's just, I can't anymore. I'm still, if you got to go 1 through 100% chances here, where do you stand on it's a comet versus not a comet? I'm over 50%. It's a comet. I'm under 50% that it's not. But when you find something that grounds you in common sense, you kind of got to hold on to that and look at that as well. And what kind of helps ground me with this is if this were what a lot of people want to claim it to be, an alien ship or alien technology, is it going to fucking sublimate? Most likely not, right? If it is alien technology, being out in space, assuming it's always been traveling around this speed, it's been out there for millions of years before it's ever even come to us. Between the last star system and us, who knows how many it's gone through. What being out there for millions, it's probably been in the billions of years. What are the chances that object is going to pick up enough space dust and shit in there that's going to, you have to remember, it totally have to encapsulate this technological device to the point where you wouldn't even see it. So now it's just miles and miles and miles wide and long, and it wouldn't even look like a craft. It would just be natural shit from space that's collected on it. Would it then sublimate? There's no gravitational pull if it's a artificial object, right?
Right.
You wouldn't think there would be if it was a manufactured object. So it's not going to be pulling things in that are going to be just kind of grinding and mushing together to coalesce and fuse into one. Right. And then it travels as this huge object and gets close to stars and sublimates. I mean,
it just doesn't make sense.
No. I want to hear from people like Avi Loeb on ideas like those, because he doesn't talk about them. Not that he has to, but let's answer as much as we can. Because 3i Atlas is odd. What do you think about these? You got the CIA document. You got these photos. What's going through your head? Because I will say this: you clearly have a different look on your face tonight after looking at those 4 images and hearing about those images than you have to date about 3i Atlas.
Yes. It's just like, it's like I was saying, like math, like with things that occur naturally, like that replicate cells, there is a mathematical like equation behind how they look. It's just how it is. That's how nature is. A rock, in the sense of a hard object that is not a biological reproducing mass of cells.
It's not alive.
Correct. That does not make perfectly, not really perfectly, but within a very small relative aspect, like angle of itself, like just the vents. I'm just, that's what's really like blowing my mind. I'm like, but at the same time, like you said, it's been out there for millions, billions of years, just like doing
That's the assumption.
Assumption, yes. And if that is the assumption, and if that is what the reality is, any type of life form as we understand it would not exist at this point. So it's
you'd need such a large population to reproduce.
It's just on like autopilot with like
however
dust corpses inside.
However, when you look at things, well, again, the sublimation comes into play in my mind. Like, come on. But maybe there is life not the way you think of it, right? Maybe there could be.
That's why I said as we understand it.
Yeah, think of AI, robotics, things like that, where AI can just make these things.
I want to think about robotics because I don't want to be taken over by a fucking horde of C-3POs.
I know someone who
that'd be scary.
Massively believes that AI will be the end of us, most likely.
Oh, I mean,
he's an engineer. He's running a group of people for a company doing engineering stuff.
I absolutely could understand and agree with that.
But imagine that. Then you wouldn't have to worry about reproduction like we do with humans and animals and things here.
Sure.
With this kind of you can think of you can think of the Bigfoot topic, right? There's been smart people that have looked into this like Bigfoot thing and saying, look, Bigfoot sightings are few and far between. Could it be possible for a Bigfoot population to survive completely undetected? I mean, you could say, well, they're not undetected. Some people see them. No. Undetected meaning
no physical
we've never formally been able to see one, photograph it, video it, capture it, put it in a fucking zoo, study the hell out of it, right? He said,
make it our bitch.
For as few and far between as they're seen, allegedly seen, I should say, you'd need such a massive population for them to sustain life without becoming extinct that you couldn't not find them. Like, it'd be like bears. I can tell you right now, where you can go camping, you will see a bear, if not every night, every other fucking night. But Bigfoot,
nothing's. Yeah, I know. I totally agree with that. Like, I mean, life as we know it, but I mean, I really don't want to think about the idea of like being, I don't know, scoped out, stalked, and then have probes dropped out by Jupiter by, a Star Wars-esque, robotic. I don't want to go there because that's just like a little too far into the sci-fi for me. But no, I'm a little bit more excited about it now because I'm like, Jesus, like these are things that just don't naturally happen.
Right.
So
but yes, naturally happen. What are the chances? You look at all of these anomalies, and from what I'm seeing, there's like 12. I'm up to 15 or more.
I was gonna say we just literally had a list, and you had like 18 on there.
Yeah, I'll go with what Avi Loeb says and say 12, but there's other oddities that have been added in. I don't know why it's at 12, but I got 15 or more. But it doesn't matter. The point is, there's a lot of oddities, and most of them have a fraction of a percentage chance of happening.
That part, yeah. That's why I'm just like,
that's a coincidence, but keep grounded. Would
for sure.
Technology sublimate? I need a talk on that with someone like Avi Loeb. I need answers on that to make more sense of things,
It's not even that for me. It's like, I get excited, but then I'm like, come on, let's be real. Like, until it's presented to me, like, here is the gray alien. Like, until it's presented to me like that, I'm just never going to be above my 1%.
Well, and here's the other thing. Let's say this was it. Let's just say an alien freaking mothership. It's here because it's scoping shit out, whatever. Let's say NASA, the CIA of all entities, looked at it and was like, holy shit, they have stellar pictures, no pun intended, stellar pictures of this thing, clearly showing this is clearly something manufactured. It looks like it's probably some type of spaceship, blah, 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 blah. Hell, maybe there's even little windows on it and they can see little aliens moving around. They could come out tomorrow And they could show you any video, any photos they want of this thing, all 100% true. Most people are still not going to believe it. The lying and the non-transparency has been so large and now so blatant that so many people see it. Nobody's going to believe shit they say.
Right.
You're
boy who cried wolf.
You're what you're going to say is bring 10 of those aliens here in cages, and I want to be able to kill one of them and make sure it's not a human in a costume.
That part.
That's the only way. And you know, I don't want to. Let's say aliens are real. There's life out there. I'm sure there's life out there, but let's say it's actually able to get here and we get it. I wouldn't want them to be killing it. We don't need to study it. Kill them.
But you know, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, they're gonna, and I get it, but
I mean, if we can't find a better way to test for rabies and dogs and animals than decapitating them, I mean, I really don't have a lot of high hopes for us.
Yeah.
Saying.
Well, I don't know, man. It continues to be odd. It's died down, and I wasn't expecting much, and now we get the C.I.A. thing, and I really want to know why he felt they
were the ones to go to. What do you know that led you to believe that they would be the right ones to contact? But like you said, no shade. Just want to know out of curiosity. No shade.
Yeah. You know, who knows? It's interesting. We're back to coincidences and everything again. So I don't
like being there. I don't like being there with coincidences.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter what we think, feel, believe, or not, how scary something is or isn't. It doesn't change whatever the truth is.
Oh, I know.
You know? So, you know, guys, make your own conclusions on this. We're just presenting the data, the facts. What Avi Loeb is saying is a good source for this stuff. He's one of the few that are even talking about it, and more people should be. I also highly recommend go to the Angry Astronaut. He's a good one. And I don't remember the other one. It's an older guy. He's got a distinct voice and a beard, and he's usually on there with another guy. I don't know what this guy used to do, if he was like an astrophysicist or something, but he's smart as shit. If I had the name of the show, I'd give it to you. It's on YouTube. Ridiculously knowledgeable in this stuff. I'm pretty sure he has a history with this stuff. I recommend you go check them out. And don't listen to the hype. Look at the data, look at the facts, look at the proof. What is there? But stay grounded. Don't jump to conclusions. It's probably a comment, but I need more answers because there's too many lowball oddities here that just shouldn't.
Yep.
So, all right. Final thoughts? Anything?
Nope. But if you have a story of your own, feel free to email us at obscuredr1@gmail.com. Type story in your headline, and we would love to discuss it on here with you. Or if you don't want to be a part of that, we don't have to discuss it with you. We can do it without you. But we would love for you to join us because it's so much more fun having you discussing your personal experiences with us so that we can ask questions and get down to the nitty gritty. Again, obscuredr1@gmail.com. Storyline, title, story.
Yep. And real quick, I know we've had a few comments on some of the videos that I did not know about. For some reason, I don't get notifications anymore, email or otherwise, right? And typically I would see it in email. We had something on the Ariel School aliens. Remember how we did a deep dive into that? And I came to the conclusion, for me at least, that it was most likely these traveling puppet shows. Well, there's a comment a couple of weeks ago. Never knew was there. Just saw it today. I replied to you, whoever you were. Thank you. He's calling bullshit on the whole alien thing as well. And saying, check out this guy, this professor, doctor, whatever, something Reed. I forgot the name. So I went on and read this guy's paper. He did a whole paper on this. Same fucking conclusion. Most like this guy
was
saying basically look at what's happening here. Look at the descriptions, and he had way more detail than we even had, and I think we had a shit ton.
Yeah,
and basically said everything we were saying as
that's
well.
cool. It's so cool.
But there was even more in there, and it was really interesting. And he goes into a deep dive even on like the costumes and the big puppet heads that they would wear, as well as I guess there's photos out there of people down there trying to look for this stuff in the tall grass, and they're saying how these kids were up on a hill, they're looking down, there's a tall grass, this whatever vegetation it was, taller than the humans that were down there trying to look in the area. These kids said they saw stuff. There's pictures of it, I guess. And he goes into everything, look at the size of these heads from far away. There's no expressions on these heads' faces, these puppets' faces. And it's exactly what the kids were describing.
Yeah.
Emotionless faces, huge heads, skinny bodies. Like, yeah. And then you got to correlate that with the distance they're at and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. I forgot the guy's name, something Reed.
That's awesome.
The only other one that I've heard come up or talk about that explanation, and I wish I'd seen that before we did that show, because could have added a bit in there of detail that is important, but I think we hit it pretty good anyway. So
yeah, we did.
With you. All right. Obscuredar1 at Gmail. We're out of here. Peace.